Well, Iranian authorities have postponed a state funeral for the assassinated supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, saying that they need to find room for millions of people. The ceremony had been scheduled to take place over the next few hours. It's still not clear who will take over from the 86-year-old who was killed in the joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on the first day of the war.
The killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei means Iran needs to pick its third supreme leader. Khamenei's second son, Mujtaba Khamenei, is considered the leading contender. Sources have told DW's Persian service he's already been chosen. But with Iran under attack, there's been no official confirmation. Donald Trump worries about another hardliner taking charge.
I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen. We don't want that to happen. It would probably be the worst. You go through this and then in 5 years you realize you put somebody in who was no better.
A more moderate option could be Hassan Khomeini, here on the right. Viewed as more of a reformist, he's a grandson of the Islamic Republic's founder and first supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Israel has threatened to assassinate whoever the current regime picks, while in Iran, a continuation of dynasties is unlikely to go down well with all those who risked their lives to protest against the regime earlier this year. On the opposition side, Reza Pahlavi, the exiled son of Iran's last Shah, has put himself forward. But critics point out the monarchy was widely hated.
Best case scenario is that the decapitation strategy that the United States and Israel are pursuing creates such a vacuum at the top that you need really a new set of leaders to come in, a very different set of leaders to come in. Some of them could emerge from what's left of the regime. They would have to link up with the opposition outside the country that seems to have much clear vision in terms of what a different Iran going forward would look like.
But with no clear opposition and the regime fighting for its survival, nothing is certain in Iran.
Well, let's explore this with Siba Shakib, who's an Iranian-German filmmaker, writer and political activist. She's also worked as a cultural advisor to NATO and Germany's armed forces. Welcome to DW, Siba. What are you feeling watching these US-Israeli attacks on your country from outside?
Thank you for having me. Well, it is a double-bent situation. Of course, we would have loved to get rid of Khamenei ourselves, but now that he is gone, we see an opportunity. Some people are even happy, as you just said, and you show in your news. And it only shows how desperate the situation has been in Iran, that people are able to be happy about the death of a criminal.
And what about you? What are your personal feelings about the wisdom and likelihood of success of this attack?
I think that it's again, a one-time situation. We have had opportunities in the past. This is a one-time situation. The situation in Iran is very, very, very difficult and dangerous. I give you only one example. The Basij, the government, has opened the prison, tract 209, where political prisoners are being held, have been held, and they have taken out the prisoners and spread them in the offices, in the institutions where the Basij themselves are, where the criminals are, to be protected by the prisoners. Where the Basij are to be protected by the prisoners. And the rest of the prisoners are not being taken care of anymore. There is no food, and nobody is doing the services that have to be done in a prison, in a normal prison.
And do you still have family in Iran? What are you hearing from them?
Yes, I have family in Iran. The communication is very difficult, and sometimes we can only leave messages and then wait and hope that an answer comes. Everybody is very scared. But of course, everybody hopes also that these criminals will be gone, and that now that the United States and mainly Israel are engaging in Iran, that they don't fall again for the lies of this regime and think that they could negotiate with them and that they could trust them. Whatever this regime says, no matter who is the next person or who will be the next people in power, never ever to be trusted. They all have blood on their hands.
Regardless of you're talking about the present regime. You're talking about don't talk to these people, even the people who succeed them, get rid of them completely. Let's start afresh. But before that can happen, Donald Trump has said, and his Secretary of State, his Secretary of Defense has said, well, this attack is not about regime change. We're going to try and bomb these people into submission, and then it's up to the Iranian people to take over. What do you think of that idea?
I think that is the only way that the new government in Iran can be installed and will function. People often say, but who can that be? And we have a little joke going on that somebody who is a political activist in prison says, I need to talk to my lawyer, and 2 windows far from him, somebody shouts out, I'm here, I'm in the prison as well. So the whole government, the whole future government could be found amongst the political prisoners who as I said earlier, are not in Evin prison anymore, but have been taken as human shields from the Basij.
OK, but before we get there, it sounds like this is going to be a bloody process, because even if this war removes not only the clerics, but also the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, even if they go, then aren't you left with a massive country with, I don't know, 1,000 different factions fighting to be top dog?
It's a very important question. I don't think it's 1,000 different factions. It's more or less 2 fractions. Those who did stand and who still stand behind the government, behind the clerics, behind the criminals, and those who say we need democracy. I think it's these 2 fractions. And we can roughly say about 15 million people are still behind the government, and about 75 million people are for democracy. Only that the 15 million have the power, they control economy, they have arms, they have money, and the 75 million are the ones who have been suffering for the last 47 years and are still in a weak position.
OK, so it's not clear, even on the figures that you quote there, 50 million against 70 million, that still sounds like nothing near a peaceful, a likely peaceful transition. So let's talk then about possibilities for that future, because Reza Pahlavi, the son of the former Shah, he's a name that has been much talked about. Is he the right person to lead a post-Mullah Iran through a transition?
A very good question again. If at all he finds an opportunity to go back into Iran and to lead the next government in Iran, then only as a transition force, but not as a permanent ruler of the country. I don't think so. My personal feeling, and the people who I'm in touch with and talk to, they all say he can be there for transition, but not more. OK. Can you see yourself returning to Iran? And under what circumstances might that happen? That's, again, another very, very good question. Because, of course, since so many years, everyone who's outside, almost everyone who's outside Iran, thinks at least for short while we would like to go back to Iran. But being outside of Iran and being active against the government and for democracy has put us in a very dangerous place, and we are not welcomed in Iran. And I don't know if we can trust that even if the government changes, remainings of those 15 million who I just mentioned, if they are not so angry against us that they would use the first opportunity to do harm at us or to kill us.
Understood. Thank you for talking us through that.
But I also have to say one last thing.
Briefly,
we are not in danger. We are not in danger. The people in Iran are in danger.
Thank you so much, Iranian-German filmmaker Siba Shakib.
Thank you. Thank you.